Hi there everybody, this is David, and we are really living in a great time as far as gaming and RPGs are concerned. We have a bunch of great games coming out this year, and today I do want to tell you all about them. The games that I am personally going to be buying, the games that really should kind of be on your radar. What kind of games they are, what they're all about, what systems are coming out on, all that kind of good stuff I do want to tell you all about. And I definitely do think that's worth the sub as you come and you join the party and you level on up with me. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your hype. It helps me out a ton. Now let's go ahead and dive right on in to this jrpg shopping list. First up, we have .hack 0 releasing in 2026 for unspecified consoles. If you had told me just a couple of days ago that we were going to be getting a new .hack game, I would have swore that you were lying to me, but here we are! This series spans 8 different games, originally back on the PlayStation 2, where it began and also unceremoniously died. But now it is back as a brand new standalone story that you can play and enjoy on your own without having ever played any of those PS2 games. It has a pretty unique premise. It takes place in a future where the internet's like corrupted, and the only way that you can really get online is to play this MMORPG called The World. However, whenever people do play it, they kind of fall in like a comatose state, or they go missing or something, so I really don't know why anybody's playing this game. You know, I wouldn't take the risk, but hey, whatever. So you and your friends dive on in to discover the mysteries of the world. Number 19 is Wizman's World Retry for the PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC, coming out on February the 19th. This is so freaking cool, y'all. Here we have a remake of a Japanese-only Nintendo DS RPG that has been rebuilt for modern consoles without that like second screen or touch controls. This here features turn-based battles along with that 2D pixel art that I just love, including some quality of life updates like a New Game Plus too. You play as a young wizard Klaus, who begins his dungeon exploration career in the city of Wizarest, which has been cut off from the outside world, so the people there live in isolation, stripped of their memories and surrounded by labyrinthine dungeons that are just crawling with monsters. But his missing mentor and adoptive mother goes missing, so he has to dive into those labyrinths in order to find her, along with his little wizard friends. Number 18, Monster Hunter Stories Twisted Reflection, coming out March 13th for the PS5, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC. Regular Monster Hunter and I don't get along all that well, but Monster Hunter Stories is a whole other ballgame. I love the first 2 games, and 3 looks like the next evolution. The new cel-shaded art style is drop-dead gorgeous, and the story's going darker too. And if the recently released demo is anything to go by, this is going to be spectacular. The world's absolutely massive. We're talking like Xenoblade massive, full of all sorts of really cool things to discover as you hop onto the back of your monsties, soar and glide around the field, dig into the ground, or swim to get to wherever you want to go to. The battles are turn-based with kind of like a rock, paper, scissors thing going on, and I think that this is going to suck hundreds of hours out of my life. Number 17, Ariana and the Elder Codex, coming out for the PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch on March the 24th. This here is another really cool game by Idea Factory that I'm totally looking forward to. I actually really very much enjoyed side-scrolling action games and Metroidvanias. They're a great palate cleanser to play between massive RPGs. And here, you're Ariana, a young scholar repairing broken codices and exploring ruins, and doing so with the help of your magical spells. There's healing and recovery magic, as well as your 4 elemental spells too. In each will do different things, and as you level up, your spells will also level up too, and you can change them on the fly for quick, fluid combat and exploration. Number 16, Sacrifire, coming out in Q1 of this year on the PC, followed by consoles later on in this year. Let's be honest, I was looking forward to this game for many years, and then last year, the developers were nice enough to reach out to me and give me a copy for review. To say that I was disappointed is an understatement. I tore the thing to shreds. But I did that not out of hate or malice, I did it because I want the game to succeed. They gave me a beta to test, so I tested it, and then I gave my unadulterated, honest feedback. So hopefully they're able to take that to heart and make all the necessary changes, because looking at it on the surface, it has all the right ingredients, so I do hope that the recipe turns out right in the end. Number 15, Utawareromono, Past and Present Rediscovered, coming out on May the 28th for the PS5, Switch 2, and PC. This here is a sequel to Monochrome Mobius Rights and Wrongs Forgotten, and it is shaping up to be a big deal for fans of this long-running franchise, because this actually continues right after Monochrome Mobius left off, blending the sprawling world exploration with deep character bonds and strategic battle systems that's rooted in the action ring mechanic. It's set in the mythical land of Yamato, and this entry promises a narrative that stretches across time and myth, with monsters rising and old friends reuniting as a mysterious threat draws everything back into legend. Whether you're a longtime fan of the franchise, or you just want like a dramatic narrative-driven RPG with satisfying combat and a beautifully crafted craft, then this one is looking great. And I personally loved Monochrome Mobius, so I cannot wait for this one that promises to actually wrap up the entire Utawareromono series. Number 14, Adventures of Elliot, coming out on June the 18th for the PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC. The Adventures of Elliot feels like Square's answer to 2D Zelda, and I am here for it. I loved Zelda growing up. The first one on the NES really paved the way for me to enjoy more RPGs. RPGs like Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy, you know? But then, whenever the N64 came out and the series kind of went 3D, I couldn't do it. I can't do really a whole lot of 3D, actually, but this thing, I can do, and it looks like the bomb. It has classic action combat with 7 different weapon types, varied companion mechanics, and a time-traveling storyline where you go through different eras to save the world. It's like an action-based Zelda meets Chrono Trigger, and that's just amazing. Number 13, Beast of Reincarnation, coming out August the 4th for the PS5, Xbox, and PC. Maybe I'm just hoping, wishing, and praying for some sort of like pie-in-the-sky Secret of Evermore successor, but this here might be the next best thing that we have. This is an action RPG, not a Souls-like, because believe me, there's definitely a difference. And instead of playing as like a boy and his dog, you play as a girl and her dog, as you fight in action-based combat with her, but then whenever it's time to use special abilities or magic or spells or whatever, that's whenever you call upon your dog, and then time slows down, and then you use those special abilities. It looks gorgeous, and I am shocked that, Game Freak of Pokemon fame is actually behind this. Number 12, Kyoto Xanadu, coming out this summer for the Switch, Switch 2, PS5, and PC. After 10 long years, we finally have a sequel to Tokyo Xanadu, and this year looks a whole lot of fun. It almost feels like an action-based Persona, where you're like a high school student deepening their bonds with their little girly friends during the day, and then diving on into the monstrous and mysterious labyrinths of Xanadu at night. There's this cool dual dimension system with side-scrolling action mixed up with 3D boss combat, and I really just love that. I grew up with 2D side-scrollers, Mario, Castlevania, and even Zelda 2, so I feel right at home with this. But in addition to that, there's a ton of school stats, social bonding, exploration, and combat to juggle on too. So if you love character growth, quirky party dynamics, and action RPG combat that keeps you moving on forward, then I do think that you'll love this too. Number 11, Another Eden Begins, coming out this summer for the Switch, Switch 2, and PC. This is not just a port or a cash grab of a mobile game. It is a brand new, fully built from the ground up RPG experience crafted specifically for consoles and PC, with the creator of Chrono Trigger and Xenogears behind it. It features full voice acting and an orchestral score too, and it takes the beloved time-traveling tale of Aldo and his sister Fienne and expands it into a massive exploration across the past, present, and future eras, complete with strategic command-based battles that feel like classic RPG combat, but modernized with like deeper synergy and tactical play. There's 18 unique companions to find, multiple endings shaped by your choices, and a New Game Plus feature that unlocks entirely new story branches too. I love this thing, and I'm hoping that this ends up leading to something else in the Chrono franchise. Number 10, the Persona 4 Remake, coming out in 2026 for the PS5, Xbox, and PC. Okay, real talk, this game, along with a little tiny bit others, I don't really know if they're coming out in 2026, but it's on this list, so sue me. And it's being rebuilt in the same engine as Persona 3 Reload with fully voiced side content, modern visuals, and re-recorded music. And Persona 4's core strengths, the small town mystery, unforgettable cast, and social link systems, are being marketed as preserved but also retooled for modern players. This one here is a big deal for fans who want Golden's Heart with next-gen presentation and possible, surprise new content. Hopefully Atlus has learned its lesson from Persona 3 Reload, and they make this the definitive version of the game, and they don't leave anything else on the cutting room floor. Number 9. Edge of Memories, coming out in 2026 for the PS5, Xbox, and PC. Here we have a new IP from the team behind Edge of Eternity, featuring action combat in a world kind of on the brink of annihilation. There's this corrosion that's already ravaged the continent on the other side of the world. However, the corrosion is now spreading to your home continent, so you and your little friends set off on a journey to stop it and save the world. The people on your continent are kind of like nomadic, moving around to avoid the corrosion, but as it does come, it will transform previous areas that you went to whenever they were uncorroded, and then it will corrode, and it will give you new paths to explore. So it looks really cool, and hopefully this team has learned their lessons from Edge of Eternity, and they deliver something really special on day one, not 6 months later with a patch. Number 8. Decapolice, coming out in 2026 for the PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Oh, level 5, what will we do with you? This one here has been delayed so many times it's practically like a meme now. But level 5 does swear that Decapolice is finally coming to come this spring. Imagine a cyber detective RPG where you solve crimes inside of like a virtual city simulation. Think Persona meets Ghost in the Shell with some goofy charms sprinkled on in. You'll be investigating in real time, then battling rogue phantoms in flashy turn-based fights. And they've kept this one on the slow burner for a while, and they are pairing the game with some anime tie-ins too, so I am expecting something truly ambitious from them, and we all know that level 5 does not miss either. Number 7. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, coming out in 2026 for the Nintendo Switch 2. We really don't know a whole hell of a lot about this one quite yet, but I definitely noticed the tie-in with Three Houses, and the early information that we do have kind of teases like gladiatorial, heroic games tournament premise, with new characters and the series' trademark tactical grid, plus a new fate timeline weaving gimmick, where you can manipulate fate as you literally weave timelines together mid-battle in order to change the outcome. I just hope that this year focuses a lot more on politics, backstabbing, war, chaos, and drama, rather than just, tea parties and students wanting to cut classes like Three Houses. Number 6. Suikoden Starleap, coming out in 2026 for mobile and PC. Y'all have no idea how badly I've waited for another entry into the Suikoden series, and now we finally have that with Starleap. And yeah, right now it is mobile and PC only, but it is built by veterans of the original Suikoden team. And it takes place just a few years before the events of the first game, and then 3 years after the events of Suikoden 5. And it takes place east of the Scarlet Moon Empire during the same year that Odessa formed the Liberation Army. And it revolves around the Rune of Change and the enigmatic Sindar tribe. As a free-to-play game, there will of course be gacha, but they've also stated time and again that gacha is only for building up your dream team. Like if you want to import a character from Suikoden 3 or 4 into the game, then you can go ahead and you can do that and pay for it. But you can also play it 100% through and get all 108 Stars of Destiny without ever touching the gacha. Number 5. Trails in the Sky Second Chapter Remake, coming out late 2026 for the PS5, Switch 2, and PC. For anybody who's been following my channel for any length of time, you probably know that I'm a huge fan of the Trails series. But with that being said, I will also say that the first few Trails games were the best few Trails games. And the longer that the series goes on, the worse that they get. I absolutely adored the Sky Trilogy and the Crossbow Duology, and the first chapter remake was nothing short of spectacular. The graphical upgrade is stupendous, the voice acting was really well done, and Liberto definitely came alive. So I cannot wait to see what they do with second chapter. Is it going to be a straight, faithful remake like the first game, or are they going to somehow incorporate third chapter scenarios into it somehow? We'll just have to wait until later on this year in order to find out. Number 4. Rev.Noir, coming out in 2026 for the PS5. This one just dropped on the radar recently, and it honestly feels like something completely special. This is Konami's latest RPG that was unveiled at the State of Play, and while a lot of details are still kind of under wraps and we don't know a whole lot, it's still really intriguing. It takes place in a post-catastrophic world racked by a mysterious phenomenon called lightfall, which turns everyone that it touches into gold. And it stars a lonely, amnesiac boy paired with a magical, mysterious girl, and a narrative that teases fate, divinity, and human will all colliding in one emotional journey. So I've just gotta say, Konami must have really made bank with that Suikoden collection, because now they're testing the waters with a brand new IP, which is something that we really don't get to see all that often any longer. Nowadays, there's so many companies playing it safe with nothing but remakes, rehashes, remasters, and sequels that it is totally nice to see something unique like this. Number 3, Infinite Alliance, coming out in 2026 for Steam, Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, PS4, PS5, and Xbox. Here you can think of like Avengers, but with indie JRPG heroes, and it suddenly makes more sense why this game has a community buzzing. This is a free-to-play, turn-based RPG that literally pulls beloved characters from over 13 indie titles. Games like Chained Echoes, Jack Move, 8-Bit Adventures 2, and Beloved Rapture, and it strands them on a dead world where they have to like band together, confront their pasts, and stop some sort of existential threat. There's 9 playable heroes with widely different skills, stylish classic JRPG combat, and environments ripped from their own universes that give this crossover a ton of flavor. And for people like me who love pixel art, there is nostalgia and discovering indie gems. It's not just like a celebration of the genre, it is a playground of RPG ideas and creativity that you can dive into for free. Number 2, Brigandine Abyss, coming out in 2026 for the Switch 2, PS5, Xbox, and PC. I love strategy RPGs, and we don't seem to have that many on the horizon, so this year's really exciting. This is a brand new entry in the long-running Brigandine series with 6 different protagonists, each with their own storyline, so this has a whole lot of replay value too. You'll be choosing your faction, managing your armies of knights and monsters, and then carving away across the continent, mixing resource management with tactical battlefield decisions that can eat up hundreds of hours once you do dive in that story and sprawling mission mode. If you love planning deep builds and watching the entire thing just play out, this here feels like a blend of Fire Emblem meets Wild Arms XF, and I am totally here for it. And number 1, the Sword and Fairy 4 Remake, coming out 2026 for PC and unspecified consoles. This here is a remake of an extremely famous Taiwanese RPG series. Well, at least it's famous over in Taiwan, because we really haven't gotten that many of the entries, but that does seem to be changing lately, and that's a good thing, because this here looks fantastic. I think personally that it looks like the next Expedition 33, and looking at these trailers, you can easily see why. Personally, the only game that I've played in the Sword and Fairy series is the 7th entry, and while that was definitely enjoyable, it wasn't turn-based, and I have heard that this entry, the 4th entry, is considered to be the best in the series, and it has turn-based combat instead of action, so I'm totally here for this day one. Thank you so much for joining me. Those are the 20 RPGs that I'm most looking forward to so far this year, but now I want to hear from you. Which of these 20 games are you looking forward to? And also, are there any other games out there that I missed that maybe you want to look at too? Let me know in the comments, and as always, have a good day.